These are your BYU-Idaho Radio morning headlines for Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Austin Pace. Average teacher pay increased in 2023, but a new study shows it still lags far behind that of other college graduates. The Northern Rockies News Service reports the average weekly wages for teachers across the nation increased 1.7% last year, but it was still more than 26 percentage points below other college graduates. Sylvia Allegretto, senior economist with the Center on Economic Policy Research, is author of the report and said there's a vast disparity across states, with Idaho among the states falling behind.
The worst is in Colorado at just over 38%. And in Idaho, the teacher pay gap is 27.1%. So not really great news, but it's not the worst in the country.
Wyoming had the smallest gap between the teacher pay and other college graduates at 9%. Nearly 3/4 of the states had gaps larger than 20%. Allegretto noted the gap for teachers has increased significantly in recent decades, from about 6% in 1996 to more than 26% in 2023. She said this is having far-reaching effects for a profession that's one of the most important in the country.
Are we able to retain the teachers that are already in the profession? And how are we going to attract and retain future students of today to choose teaching as a profession?
Allegretto said more public investment in education will be necessary to correct this issue.
There's not going to be one way to do this, but it is definitely going to take federal, state, and local government effort.
And according to ZipRecruiter, the average salary for teachers in Idaho is $41,837. President Camille N. Johnson, the Relief Society General President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is in Central Europe, where she's visiting saints in 4 countries over 9 days. She is traveling with her husband, Doug, and with sister Tracy Y. Browning, the second counselor in the primary general presidency, and her husband, Brady. Their trip began in Italy, where they met with missionaries in the Italy-Milan mission. They also met with leaders of the Progetta Arca organization, which the church has collaborated with to provide housing and food assistance to those in need. The leaders also had the chance to meet with some sisters in their homes in Milan.
My spirits are always lifted as I hear these people testify of their commitment to Jesus Christ and of the strength that they find in Him.
The leaders will also visit Prague, Czech Republic, Budapest, Hungary, and Zagreb, Croatia, places they've never been before.
But I look forward to wrapping my arms around those good sisters and the saints as we visit each of those locations, hopefully bringing the love of our Savior Jesus Christ to them.
Members of the Relief Society also gathered in church meeting houses in Milan for a countrywide broadcast on Sunday evening. A new sign in opposition to the Proposition 1 ballot initiative is at the center of controversy, as more than a dozen signs were vandalized. According to the Idaho Capital Sun, Idaho Republican Party officials say more than a dozen of the signs have been vandalized in Meridian and Eagle. Proposition 1 would end close party primary elections in Idaho and create what is known as ranked choice voting in the general election. The vote for Prop 1 will be held in the November 5th general election in Idaho and will take a simple majority of the vote to pass the ballot initiative. If approved, Prop 1 would repeal the state's current closed party election law from 2011. It would create a single primary election that is open to all candidates and all voters, regardless of party affiliation. The 4 candidates in the primary election with the most votes would advance in the general election, regardless of party affiliation. Under ranked choice voting, voters would vote for their favorite candidate and have the option of ranking the remaining candidates in order of preference. The candidate with the fewest votes would be eliminated, and their votes would be transferred to any second choice candidates on those ballots. That process would continue until there are 2 candidates left and the candidate with the most votes is elected the winner. Idaho GOP Chairwoman Dorothy Moon said in a written statement she is disappointed to see this sort of behavior in Idaho, especially with the approaching of the November 5th general election. These signs were placed by individual citizens who wanted to warn their communities about the dangers of ranked choice voting, so to see them defaced like this is an outrage, Moon said. In a news release issued Monday, the Idaho Republican Party officials provided photos that appeared to depict 2 of the defaced Vote No signs. One sign appeared to have a swastika drawn over it, while the other appeared to be altered to encourage voters to vote yes on the measure. Thanks for joining me today. These have been your morning headlines for September 18th, 2024. We've got more great content for you anytime you want it. Just search for BYU-Idaho Radio on your favorite podcast app. You can also ask your smart speaker to play KBYI 94.3 FM. We're also on the interwebs. Head over to byui.edu/radio to listen there. For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Austin Pace.